This is a first for Visionaries, a sequel. More than a decade ago, we told you the story of an organization called the Nonprofits Insurance Alliance of California. We did so for two reasons. First, we wanted you to understand that virtually all nonprofits, from soup kitchens to boys and girls clubs, must make important financial business decisions to make their work possible. The second reason was that we wanted to inspire you with a powerful story of social entrepreneurialism. Well, it turns out that the story just keeps getting better. Come with us now across America to meet the beneficiaries of Pamela Davis's work and see how a single good idea has grown into one of the most successful nonprofit organizations in America.
We are a group of companies now. We started out as one, NIAC, and we are now 4 companies, and they're all 501c3 nonprofit organizations. Companies that most organizations know about are NIAC, Nonprofits Insurance Alliance of California, and ANI, Alliance of Nonprofits for Insurance Risk Retention Group.
One of the things that people really don't understand is that while nonprofits can go out and deliver services to individuals, in order for that to continue on over time, we've got to have an infrastructure, an entity there that goes on for time. And so it's one of the real challenges that we have is to get people to understand it's not just about the delivery of services of food or shelter or health care, but it's really have an ongoing entity that can survive over time.
Every day, a nonprofit organization is going to touch you somewhere in your community. It's amazing that you really can't get through a day without some nonprofit touching you in some way.
We were very proud when we heard that NIAC had started in Santa Cruz because it's a nonprofit insurance company, and it was unheard of in 1989 when it got started.
Let's talk about the evolution of a nonprofit and how it starts. Someone will see a real need in their community. A child has been hurt, someone suffering from a disease, some other heart-rending episode, and they say, I want to make a difference. I want to stop this from happening again. I want to solve this problem. So they go out with a couple of their friends and they say, how can we do this? It's the grand American tradition, trying to help others in their community.
California Gray Bears was started in 1973 by a couple of UCSC students and a couple of seniors who had excess produce in their gardens to share. So they started distributing their garden surplus, and then they decided that, well, there are so many people in need. They went to the local farmers and asked if they could have the stuff that was left over in the fields, and the farmers said, sure.
Produce more than they can sell, so they donated to Gray Bears, and we distributed it to the elderly and people who are hungry.
About 98% of the produce that we received would have been plowed under.
Gray Bears is a great organization. It provides nutritious food for seniors, it has a thrift shop, it has a large recycling program, and it really does a lot for our community and particularly the seniors.
We receive any e-waste here. We take microwaves, vacuum cleaners, televisions, computers, and then we tear the towers down here and then sell those as parts for the copper and the gold and the silver and the mercury. And the other monitors go out are shipped to San Jose, but we're very careful that we don't let them get shipped overseas. Of course, we have a rummage shop over there that belongs to the Gray Bears.
We have probably 1,700 bags tomorrow.
So a bag usually is about 15 pounds and has lots of fresh vegetables for salads or stir fries. Plus everyone gets a loaf of bread, and those bags get delivered to their homes by shut-in drivers. And we have about 50 shut-in drivers who go all around the county and deliver bags. Then we have another 50 distribution sites where another 50 drivers or so go and deliver bags where people who are ambulatory can come pick up their bag themselves. We couldn't deliver this food if it weren't for the volunteers. The volunteers run the office, keep the membership rolls up to date, deliver the food, package the food.
Nonprofits are the stopgap between complete poverty and what the government services offer. They're the safety net for folks that maybe don't qualify for government services or providing services that the government just can't offer. And that's where the nonprofits step in to really make our communities richer and stronger.
I love this cooperative feeling in an insurance company. And I heard that eventually they would give dividends. And I thought that was an amazing concept.
The nonprofit world is a lot bigger than people recognize. Collectively, the nonprofit sector is huge. We're 10% of America's workforce. More than 15 million Americans are employed by nonprofit organizations. And on top of that, we then have all the volunteers.
City Car Share was founded in 1999 to improve the environment and the quality of life in the Bay Area by reducing the dependence on the automobile. We launched our program with 12 vehicles, and today we have 320 vehicles at 150 locations in 5 cities in the Bay Area. One thing that makes City Car Share unique is we are a 24/7 accessible program. That means independent access to our vehicles. Each member gets their own unique fob that lets them into the vehicle. And it'll track the hours and the miles that they're driving the vehicle. It includes the insurance, the gas card. So basically, all you have to do is pick up the car at one location and return it. One of our earliest challenges with launching City Car Share was getting insurance. We were able to find one insurance company that was able to cover City Car Share, and it was at astronomical prices.
Prior to Annie and I being in the marketplace, the commercial marketplace had full reign on what they could do with nonprofits. They could either non-renew them, they could target specific niches and say we're not going to rate foster family agencies anymore. They basically had full reign over anything they could do. Now that NIAC and Annie are in the marketplace, the nonprofits really have an alternative to the commercial marketplace. So what happens is, even regardless whether a nonprofit's insured with us or not, they're benefiting from us being in the marketplace.
In the first year and a half, we had approximately 4 different insurance companies that dropped us for various reasons, even though we had a very good loss run and low accident rate.
The commercial market was basically saying nonprofits were high risk. And they just kept saying that, and people just came to believe it. But when you said to them, where's the data? They had no data to support that. They were not collecting data specifically on nonprofits. We have the data. So no one can ever say that about nonprofits anymore. We know that they're well managed.
It wasn't until we found NIAC in 2002 that we were able to find a partner that would stick with us through the long haul.
We have a very experienced underwriting staff here. So when we look at a submission that comes in, we can understand, we can kind of read between the lines a lot more than I think a lot of standard insurance carriers can, because we're so experienced in this.
And we have to assess them on an individual basis, you know, and their operations are always different. So we have to take that into consideration when we look at their accounts.
Well, they assured us right away that they would not drop us. They said, we're sticking with you for the long haul. We'll work with you on reducing risk if that is a problem, but we look at it as a partnership. So one of the things that NIAC mentioned to us early on in our relationship with them was they said if we keep our losses down, they would return their investment, their essential profit, back to their organizations. Basically, instead of as a for-profit would give it to their shareholders, NIAC gives it to the different organizations they work with.
The reason we're able to pay those out is for a variety of reasons. It speaks to how well our organization is established and run, and that we have well-trained folks in both our underwriting and claims departments that know how to write that business and then how to work on behalf of the member if they should have a claim. And it speaks to our ability to help educate our members from a loss control perspective to minimize their risks and keep them down and help them run a better business. And so when all of those pieces work together, kind of our partnership concept again, then that's why we're able to provide those dividends to our members.
The more we as an organization focus on these loss control kinds of things, you know, the general trend in claims have actually come down.
When our members join City Car Share, they drive less, they walk more, take more public transportation. It reduces congestion in the city because we find that people sell their car if they owned a car or put off buying a car. And then what we found, we did a longitudinal study actually over 4 years with UC Berkeley that found that our members now save 80,000 miles driven per day. In addition to 1.8 million gallons of gas saved a year and 35 million pounds of CO2 that our members save.
I think the Young Playwright is just one of those great examples of this little light that is really empowering kids to think about how they communicate and how they express themselves.
He's the kind of guy that was always afraid of affection. And when the walls closed around,
we teach playwriting in grades 4 through 12 throughout the district, and that's a 12-week program where we teach students about language and grammar and bringing their ideas forth onto the page. Every student gets to write a play in our program, and every student gets to see their work performed in the classroom. We work in English classes and social studies classes and history classes, and we activate traditional classroom content for 12 weeks, and students write plays about history, social studies, science, and then we produce those plays. We perform our students' work in professional theaters throughout Greater Washington. So at Gala Hispanic Theater, at Kennedy Center, throughout Greater Washington we do tours and festivals and showcases, and students get to see their work performed by professional artists.
Travel through the border without any problem.
The actors and professional artists really get excited by seeing students see their work brought to life and getting a chance to work on a piece that students have written for the very first time and getting to bring their expertise into the classroom to help students realize their dream. We really strive through our program to give students the tools they need to engage the world around them. So the tools that they need to communicate, to express themselves clearly and creatively, and to engage as an active participant in their education. All nonprofits aren't just charities. We're really empowering and strengthening young people, that we're preparing them to be active participants in society, to be better communicators, to be better citizens. And with a full-time staff of 4, we don't have enough time to really focus on a lot of infrastructure issues that larger organizations can, and so the support that we get is really, really critical.